everybody, it's Elaine Bryan, holistic nutritionist and health coach. So I don't know about you, but it's been a little chilly and a little rainy around here in Carlsbad, California. So one of the things that you can do to get some more plants in your life is to make soups. They're super easy to make. So I'm going to show you how to make a quick broccoli potato yummy soup. This is going to be super easy and fast to make. So all you have to have is a pan on your stove, a pot on your stove, and you can put some veggie broth in there. This is one I get from Trader Joe's. I buy the low sodium one just because it has a lot of sodium in the other one, and I like to add my own Himalayan salt and things like that too instead of the salt that they use. So you can start off with the low sodium and add whatever you need to. So this is the one that I use. A lot of times these other ones have oils in them and things like that, so check the back of them. These things are getting expensive too, so Trader Joe's still has the best price. Some of the ones at Sprouts are like almost $4 for a little thing of vegetable broth. Don't forget, you can cut off all of the ends of your vegetables that you're using for other things like your broccoli, ends of potatoes, ends of onions, anything else that you're using, and put them in a baggie or a container of some kind in the freezer. And then when you're ready to make your broth, you just put them all in with some water in your pot. Old spices, like you have old rosemary, old thyme or something like that, just add some of those in there, turn it on and let it simmer for a couple of hours, maybe 4 hours or something, and then strain it, and you've got your own veggie broth with your own nutrients in it. So much cheaper, guys. So that's usually what I do, but I use this when I'm doing demos and things like that, and I keep it in a pinch in case I don't have anything in the freezer. Right now I have 2 bags, so I could make my own. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I turn that on. I'm just going to open that up. There's about 4 cups in here, so I'm just going to dump that in there. It has a little orangey look on this one just because of the way it's processed a little bit, and what they put in it, I should say. So you don't want processed food, so this is just something that they actually put together, and it doesn't have any weird excipients in it as far as I know. Pretty good stuff. Okay, so then I'm going to add onion. I already cut up some onion. Doesn't matter if you use red, white, yellow, whatever you got. So I cut up some onion. I'm just going to dump it in there. I just roughly chopped it and put all that in there with some chopped up potatoes. And so these potatoes I didn't peel first because I used a little bit of the small creamers, baby creamers, yellow potatoes. So I'm going to add those, because we want to cook those first before we actually start simmering our broccoli in there. The other thing that I really love to add is garlic, because you don't have to add garlic if you don't want to, but I put a number of garlic cloves in there, maybe 3 or 4. Oops. So it's just 1 full onion, maybe about 5 or 6 little potatoes, so just eye it and get whatever you want. I'm going to put that in there. I could actually put the spices in there now, but I'm going to let that simmer for a little bit until it cooks down, and then I'll come back and I'll show you some of the next things that we do. After you simmer the onions and the potatoes in your veggie broth for a little bit, and just make sure that they got soft a little bit, then you're going to add your broccoli, just some cut up broccoli. So I'm going to put that in there. It's going to be a lot for this one pot, but it's going to cook down a little bit. So we're going to soften that up a little bit. We can put in some of our, this is nutritional yeast. I'm going to put in about a 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup, depending on how quote cheesy you want it to be. So I'm just going to put that in there and let that simmer in there a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more water as well. I am going to be putting in a little bit of my cashew milk in a little bit as well. So you just want to make sure all of this is covered by your liquids, and I'm going to cook that down for just a little bit, and then we'll add the cashew milk and some other spices, and there we'll have our soup. Okay, so now that has cooked down the broccoli, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some spices. Before I put some of it, you can use an immersion blender. I put it back in my Vitamix and just kind of make it nice and chunky a little bit, but I don't want the big chunks in there as much. And then I put some pepper, and then I have some basil. So I'm going to put a little bit of basil in there as well, maybe a teaspoon or so, maybe a little bit more. I made a lot more today. And then I'm going to put in a little bit of this umami spice that I get from Trader Joe's. And it's got a little bit of red pepper flakes in there, so it gives it a little bit of a kick. But it also has a little bit of natural salt and some mushrooms, which are great for vitamin D. And then this one has no salt in it at all, the 21 Seasoning Salute. It's just a lot of spices. So it just gives it a lot of flavor to add. I just kind of dump a bunch of stuff in, and then you can taste it and see what you think. We want to add a little bit of salt. Remember I told you to use the low sodium vegetable broth, so I'm just going to add a little bit of my own salt. little pink Himalayan, and you want to check it to make sure it is the right spiciness that you like and the right saltiness. And now what I do is I just kind of take my ladle. You can use an immersion blender. This is what I do though. I already put in my cashew milk. I just soaked some raw cashews in some water, and then I drained them, and then I put some more filtered water in there, and I whirled it up and made a nice cashew cream. You can make your own cashew milk that way. I didn't strain it, so you don't have to do that. So I'm just gonna mix this up a little bit. Get it whirled up just a minute. And I like to leave some of the chunks in there, but I do have some pretty big chunks of broccoli and potatoes in there. So I'm gonna pick out some of those big ones to just break down a little bit. There's a lot in there. I made a lot of soup. It's supposed to be a little bit chilly the next couple days. Why not, right? Okay. I'm gonna leave some of the chunks in there, the littler ones. Put a little bit more back in there. I like to eat some of the chunks of the potatoes and the broccoli, but not a lot. Okay, so I'm breaking that down. And I'm just gonna whir that up again. Like I said, I can use my version. I get lazy, instead of getting that out, I just have my Vitamix right here. So there we go. And we got it nice and ready to go. I can add some more nutritional yeast. I can add anything else new in there. But doesn't that look yummy? It's gonna be super creamy and yummy. And just test it again for the spices. And there you go. You got your broccoli potato soup. Have a great day.